Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here's what's happening. An FDNY Emergency Medical Services lieutenant was fatally stabbed in Queens on Thursday afternoon.
The first responders of our city are the ones who keep us safe. They are the ones who respond in an instant whenever we need help. Tonight, one of those heroes has lost her life. FDNY EMS Lieutenant Allison Russo Elling, a 24-year veteran who was stabbed to death in an attack she never saw coming. Members of FDNY EMS Station 49 hugged each other and huddled together tonight in Queens after learning that one of their own was stabbed to death while on duty.
While outside her station, she was stabbed multiple times in a barbaric and completely unprovoked attack.
61-year-old FDNY EMS Lieutenant Allison Russo Elling was standing outside Station 49 just after 2 p.m. this afternoon. Police say Lieutenant Russo Elling decided to grab some lunch half a block away from her station at 20th Avenue and 41st Street in Astoria when a man came out of nowhere, pulled out a knife, and began stabbing the EMT numerous times. Russo Elling is then rushed to Mount Sinai while the suspect runs into this nearby building where police say he lived. He locks himself inside his apartment, and after a couple of hours, the hostage team negotiates with the suspect to finally come out.
He was taken into custody and is presently in the 114th precinct where the investigation is ongoing.
Every time I left my apartment to go for a walk or go somewhere to go to the store, I noticed this man who was always walking around by himself. And he seemed odd.
We have been talking to people who live along this normally quiet stretch in Queens, and most of them say they have never seen anything like this happen here.
This is a quiet neighborhood. It's all working class, working people, families, and you don't hear these things around here.
Tonight, though, a city is mourning the loss of a hero, a woman who was just doing her job, committed to saving the lives of New Yorkers. She now becomes the 1,158th member of the FDNY to die in the line of duty.
Every day they do their job in a manner in which many of us don't realize how dangerous it is. She was working for this city. She paid the ultimate sacrifice because of that.
And a tribute to Lieutenant Russo Elling tonight above her station house 49 here in Astoria, Queens. The American flag lowered to half-staff. As for that suspect, he has not been identified by police, just described as a 34-year-old who was wearing that gray sweatshirt when he attacked Lieutenant Russo Elling. That 34-year-old expected to be charged sometime tonight or tomorrow. A very sad day in our city tonight.
A 17-year-old girl was shot in the face and died as she hung out on a Brooklyn street with her friends.
Shaima Roman was just 17 years old. She had so much life ahead of her, but it was all cut short by bullets. The loss, tremendous for those who loved her.
I feel devastated.
For her father, the heartache is difficult to describe.
She got siblings. She got an older sister who's 19 and my son who's 10, so I have to be strong for that.
The NYPD is looking for those responsible. Detectives say the teenager was shot while standing with a group of people outside her grandmother's apartment building in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. It's a place where she felt safe, a block she's known since she was a little girl. Her dad was inside when the bullets started to fly. Shortly after, he says he picked up his daughter's body.
I heard chaos. I came out. And I came and grabbed my daughter.
It happened just after 6 p.m. yesterday. Now, more than 24 hours later, detectives still haven't made an arrest. But they say the teenager was not the intended target. Her community coming together to honor her life.
Say her name.
Shaima. Releasing purple balloons. Purple was her favorite color.
Shy.
And her nickname was Shy.
She was beautiful, animated, so animated, she was beautiful.
Her memory is now the force propelling her family to demand answers.
Justice for my daughter.
They want whoever pulled the trigger to be held responsible.
The NYPD is investigating several shootings that rattled neighborhoods in 4 boroughs on Tuesday.
12 victims, 5 shootings, all in the span of 9 hours. Many people, including those in this Queens neighborhood, are shocked.
Fear.
The community is living in fear.
The Ozone Park community in Queens, a place many families call home. Families who take their kids to this playground on 95th Avenue and 88th Street, where shots were fired yesterday evening before sunset. It happened just after 6 p.m., according to police.
The kids were crying. We were trying to calm the kids down. The parents were crying. Everybody was concerned. They were checking their kids to see if they got shot. 4
people were hurt, the NYPD says. 3 were innocent bystanders. They believe one person was the target. Among the victims, a 15-year-old girl who was shot in the leg, a 16-year-old boy who was shot in the back, a 20-year-old man shot twice in the leg, and a 32-year-old man shot in the leg. All of the victims taken to nearby hospitals. They are expected to recover.
The shootings have increased.
When it comes to shootings, yesterday was a particularly violent day in New York City. 12 people shot total in between 3 p.m. and midnight. It was just after 3:20 in the afternoon when the NYPD responded to an incident in Harlem at 209 West 125th Street. Police said a 20-year-old man was shot in the leg after some sort of altercation, and a 48-year-old woman was caught in the crossfire, also shot in the leg. At 6:11, a call to the NYPD about a shooting on Staten Island at 101 Daniel Low Terrace. The victim, according to police, was a male in his 30s, and he was shot in the stomach. The Queens shooting at the park reported to the NYPD at 6:18 p.m. In Brooklyn, another shooting just before 8 p.m. at the corner of Jefferson and Ralph Avenue. A man was shot in the right arm, according to police. And at 11:45 p.m. at West 116th Street and Frederick Douglass Boulevard in Harlem, 4 people shot when police say a suspect approached a group and started blasting bullets. The victims, all men, all in their 20s, all sent to the hospital, 3 in stable condition and 1 in serious condition at last check.
It's unbelievable. I think the gun violence has to truly come to stop.
No arrests in any of these cases so far. Today at a news conference, the NYPD chief of detectives talked about the many guns they're taking off the streets, and Steve, about the many guns still out there.
A homeless career criminal faces charges in connection with a horrific attack on a woman at a Queens subway station that was caught by a security camera.
A woman is recovering after being savagely beaten by a man at a train station in Queens. Police say the woman, 33 years old, was attacked after ignoring the man when he tried to engage her in conversation. Authorities say that man, 41 years old, Wahid Foster, then repeatedly punched and kicked her in the face before he ran away. He was later arrested, charged with assault. Now, according to police, this guy is a career criminal, lengthy rap sheet, including the murder of his own grandmother.
4 men standing on a Harlem street corner were shot on Tuesday night.
The latest incident happening overnight in Harlem. 4 men were shot just blocks away from where we're standing outside the 28th precinct. And as we often see in these types of incidents, the person who did it, police say, got away.
I think the gun violence has to truly come to stop because it's not about us anymore.
It was a bloody day and night across New York City, with an outburst of violence leaving at least 12 people shot in less than 9 hours. An all too common sight unfolding just before midnight in Harlem. Police cars, flashing lights, and crime scene tape can be seen at the intersection of Frederick Douglass Boulevard and West 116th Street. Investigators say a suspect approached a group of 4 men in their 20s and opened fire, leaving 1 victim in serious condition.
It's unbelievable.
Earlier in the evening at around 6:30, police got reports of gunshots ringing out at the London Plaintree Playground in Ozone Park. A 15-year-old girl was shot in the leg, a 16-year-old boy was shot in the back, a 20-year-old man was shot twice in the leg, and a 32-year-old man was also shot in the leg. All 4, who police do not believe to have been intended targets, were taken to nearby hospitals in stable condition.
It was a chaotic scene because it happened in the playground where the kids played.
Between 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday and midnight, 2 other people were shot in Harlem. A man was shot on Staten Island and a man was shot in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. All victims are expected to survive. Despite this spate of gun violence, the newest weekly NYPD crime statistics show that murders are down by 13% this year to date. Shooting incidents are also down by more than 13%, and shooting victims have decreased by more than 12%. Now, police say the two shootings that unfolded here in Harlem, the one that happened overnight and the one that happened earlier in the afternoon, are completely unrelated. We are also hearing that one of the victims in that earlier shooting was a woman. She was a street vendor simply doing her job, and she was an unintended target.
The NYPD is investigating after a car crashed into a KFC Pizza Hut restaurant in Queens on Monday afternoon after a shoplifter tried to carjack a driver.
It happened around 2 o'clock this afternoon in Hillcrest. Skyfox over the scene. Police tell us it started as a shoplifting incident at a nearby Rite Aid. The suspect then tried to carjack a vehicle with the driver still inside. Here's what the damage looked like from the inside after that alleged victim hit the gas and the car ran into the restaurant on Union Turnpike. Neither the suspect nor victim suffered serious injuries.
The NYPD is concerned about a growing way for criminals to escape their brazen and at times heinous crimes: motorized scooters and mopeds. Police say the getaway vehicles are hard to stop.
We are here at Fort Tryon Park, and there are still people walking through the park even at this late hour. And as they do, they are seeing these signs which say "Wanted for sexually motivated robbery."
When these scooters come on, they can zip out. That's why the perpetrators are using them. They zip in and out of traffic. They move quick. They're very difficult to stop.
It's the new way for criminals to escape their brazen and at times heinous crimes. Motorized scooters, a getaway vehicle nearly impossible to stop.
With these scooters, many times the persons, as you see in this, they're masked up. They're very hard to identify. Detectives have to track that scooter a long ways.
The latest offense occurred in Fort Tryon Park. Wanted posters wallpaper the street lamps, warning parkgoers of the risk. The latest attack happened in broad daylight Saturday. A woman out running is attacked, dragged by her hair behind a tree, punched in the face, and then sexually assaulted. The crook made off with her watch and phone before fleeing on a motorized scooter. It's the third time in recent weeks involving some sort of assault and a moped.
You have people that are riding all over the city on these motorized scooters, mopeds, etc., that are committing these crimes.
According to CompStat, reports of rape are up this year over last, but other sex crimes are down dramatically.
I think the NYPD needs to create a unit that focuses solely on individuals on these motorized scooters and dirt bikes. When criminals understand that there's an enforcement agenda that's targeted towards their criminality.
And shortly before air, we reached out to the NYPD to see if, in fact, these posters have led to an arrest just yet. Steve, they tell us not yet, but they are still looking. And, of course, if anybody in this area has any information, you are urged to call police.
The NYPD says 2 men have been arrested for the robbery of a Brooklyn bishop while he was in the middle of a church service.
2 of the 3 suspects have been arrested, and they faced a judge about an hour ago. Now, one of the suspects did make bond, so he has been released. The other one remains behind bars today. Now, this is a federal case because the ATF has been involved. They helped the NYPD make these arrests. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office and the NYPD, 23-year-old Jawan Anderson and 23-year-old Saquon Pollock have been charged with robbery in the first degree and possession of a firearm. The 2 men are being accused of robbing Bishop Lamore Whitehead and his family back on July 24th. Now, the NYPD says the suspects, who were masked and armed, stormed into the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry and pointed a gun at the bishop, his wife, and 8-month-old daughter and robbed them of their jewelry. Police say they stole about $1 million worth of jewelry. Now, the bishop was live streaming his sermon, so the violent robbery was broadcasted in real time. Now, according to the indictment, both Pollock and Anderson have a criminal history. Pollock has 7 prior arrests, Anderson 2. The families of both suspects were in court. Anderson's mother posted $50,000 bond, and that is why her son has been released. Both are trying to make a plea deal. Also in court, the bishop. He says he does not know the suspects and is happy that justice is being served.
Is a win today because the narrative that was posted and presented that I had something to do with this robbery, and it has destroyed my life. This was turned around from me being a victim to a villain, and today, God gave me and my family the victory, and they were able to catch these 2 young men, and there's another one at large.
Investigators from the Brooklyn Robbery Squad and our Federal Task Force Sparta, consisting of NYPD detectives and ATF agents, were able, through various investigative means, consisting of video and electronics tracking, were able to identify these perpetrators.
And the bishop told us that his family is traumatized and that he has lost a lot of members of his church. Now, the both suspects that were arrested, if convicted, they could face life in prison. They are still looking for a third suspect. Police know who he is. They're just looking for him. Now, they are due back in court on October 28th.
And finally, parents in New York City are sounding the alarm about security after an emotionally disturbed person got into a school in Queens.
Calls to keep the front doors of New York City public schools locked continue to grow louder after recent incidents at 2 Queens schools.
We have to make sure all the doors are secured.
Just a way to make sure that, people don't get in the building that don't belong.
On September 15th at PS 28 in Corona, there were reports of an intruder walking through the front door while school was in session.
It was described as deranged, and he got past security, which is alarming.
City Council member Robert Holden represents the district. He says almost 2 weeks ago, there were also reports of a homeless man harassing children and residents near PS 87 in Middle Village. Holden has been writing letters to the city's Department of Education to install buzzer systems at all schools and asking the district to change its policy and require school main doors to be locked.
Every parent wants their children protected. Locking the doors is a no-brainer.
The DOE requires schools to keep their main doors unlocked in the event of an emergency. In a statement, the DOE says all building doors are locked except the front door, which is staffed by a school safety agent. We are exploring the use of technology to help fortify our schools to support all efforts to ensure the safety of our students and staff, while balancing the need to provide immediate access in emergency situations. And the Department of Education says they plan on adding hundreds of safety agents this school year. They've also rolled out a push notification system to alert parents and students in the event of an emergency. But some parents feel that more could still be done to keep children safe.
That's this week's Crime in the City.